Very good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television. I'm Sachin Ratnayaka. Let's look at the headlines first. The Presidential Task Force on One Country, One Law commences the public hearing. Instead of criticizing the budget, opposition should bring the alternative, SLMC MP Nasir states. News in detail. The Presidential Task Force on One Country and One Law met the public in the Mullaitivu and Kilinochchi districts during the day. The Presidential Task Force also invites the general public to submit their views individually or as an organization before the 30th of this month. The Presidential Task Force on One Country, One Law, chaired by Venerable Gandagoda Atte Gnanasara Thera, began its public consultation last weekend from the Northern Province. The consultation took place at the Valampuri Hall in Jaffna. The task force also listened to the civilians in the Mullaitivu and Kilinochchi districts today. The consultation sessions took place at the office of the Northern Province Organic Food Producers Association in Bogaswaba, Vavuniyawa, and at the auditorium of the Vavuniyawa District Secretariat respectively. Representatives from various ethnic groups living in these areas expressed their views at the gathering. Appreciating the views of the people, the task force chairman Venerable Gandagoda Atte Gnanasara Thera said that he was determined to make one country, one law a reality. Professor Shanti Nandana Veerasinghe, E.M. Pillai Dayananda Raja, and other members of the task force, Secretary to the Task Force Senior Assistant, Secretary to the President Jeevanthi Senanayaka, and several other parties were present at the occasion. President established the controversial task force in late October to study the concept One Country, One Law and make suggestions for developing a conceptual framework unique to Sri Lanka, taking into account the views and opinions of various parties regarding the implementation of the concept. The task force is expected to submit a report to the President once a month, and the final report should be submitted on or before February 28 next year. The public can submit their views to the task force until November 30th by mail to Presidential Task Force on One Country, One Law, PO Box 504, Colombo, or by email ocol.consultations@gmail.com. The COPA committee stated that foreign direct financial aid has been spent on 4 projects without informing the External Resources Department of the General Treasury. The fact was disclosed in the Committee on Public Accounts, which was held in Parliament premises last week under the chairmanship of parliamentarian Professor Tissa Vitarana. The revelation came as officials of the Ministry of Environment were summoned to the Committee on Public Accounts to examine the Auditor General's report for the financial year of 2017, 2018 and 2019 and their current performance. It was identified that 3 projects worth $9.96 million and 1 project worth €1.86 million were being implemented with such direct financial assistance. However, the Department of External Resources had not been notified. Hence, the COPA committee instructed the officials to inform the Treasury when receiving and spending such assistance in the future. Furthermore, COPA committee emphasized that the attention paid to the pollution caused by the mixing of chemical wastes and hazardous wastes by the government hospitals is at a minimum. The COPA also stated that a systematic program has already been initiated on this regard. In addition, discussions were also held on how systematic electronic waste management should be carried out, as well as regarding the compensation payments on land acquired by the government for the development of the Uma Oya multipurpose project and the current status of the Surakemu Ganga National Environment Program. The Assistant Director General of Antimicrobial Resistance at World Health Organization states that people need to take antibiotics seriously and that they should complete their course of antibiotic treatments. The Assistant Director General of Antimicrobial Resistance, Hanan Balki, stated this during a Q&A session held at WHO headquarters recently.
Antibiotics need to be prescribed by licensed healthcare providers to provide it for the right diagnosis, with the right dosages, with the right duration, and this is extremely important. So that's the first issue. The second issue is in giving them in this and using them irrationally, we're already allowing for these bacteria to become more and more resistant. We are already at the era what we call the post-antibiotic era, where some of our most common and powerful antibiotics are no longer effective. And this type of behavior continues to fuel into the increasing resistance among the bacteria. So we really need to make the communities and people aware of what is the proper use of antibiotics, and that they need to be given through a prescription, and that they need to be taken seriously, and if they are given a prescription, they really need to complete the course of treatment. This improper use or irrational use of antibiotics, as I said, only fuels further into resistance development for these bacteria.
Stay tuned for more news. We'll be right back after a small commercial break.
Connect with SLT Rainbow Pages, your true local search.
Welcome back to the State of Business. The vote on the second reading debate of the budget took place this evening and passed with a majority of 93 votes. The budget 2022 received 153 votes in favor, and 60 parliamentarians have voted against the budget. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa presented the budget proposals in Parliament on 12th of this month. Accordingly, Speaker announced that the second reading of the budget passed in Parliament. The committee stage debate on the budget will begin from tomorrow onwards, and the final vote will take place on the 10th of December. JVP leader and the National People's Power parliamentarian Anurakumara Dissanayake suggests the Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa not to change his budget proposals when they are being implemented. Joining in the budget debate, JVP leader Dissanayake said that they want to see the economy is being managed without bringing any supplementary estimates.
මුදල් අමාත්‍යවරයා වැදගත් කරුණක් ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. ඒක අපි ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. දැනට මේ ඉදිරිපත් කර දෙන වැය ශීර්ෂ වලට අමතරව කිසිදු වැය ශීර්ෂයක් පරිපූර්ණක ඇස්තමේන්තු ලෙස පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉදිරිපත් නොකරන බව. මා හිතනවා ඔබතුමා පහුගියදා කරලා දේ ප්‍රකාශය මේ විදියටම ලබන වසර පුරාම පවත්වා ගනිවි කියලා. හැබැයි ඔබතුමාට සහතිකයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඔබතුමා අපේක්ෂා කරන බිලියන 2.2ක ආදායම, ට්‍රිලියන 2.2ක ආදායම, කෝටි 2,20,000ක ආදායමක් අපේක්ෂා කරනවා. ඔබට මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සහතිකයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද ඒ ආදායම ලැබෙවි කියලා? ඔබට මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සහතිකයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද මේ අයවැය ලේඛන සම්මත කරන වෙලාවේදී මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් අනුමැතිය ඉල්ලා සිටින ණය ලබා ගැනීමේ සීමාව ඉක්මවන්නේ නැද්ද කියලා? මා ඉතාමත් සහතික වශයෙන් කියනවා තමුන්නාන්සේ පරිපූර්ණක ඇස්තමේන්තු ඉදිරිපත් නොකරාට තමුන්නාන්සේ මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සහතික වශයෙන් ණය සීමාව වැඩි කිරීමේ යෝජනාව ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. බලමු. ගිය අවුරුද්දෙත් ඔබතුමාට මතක ඇති බිලියන 1919ක ආදායමක් අපේක්ෂා කරා. හැබැයි අයවැය ලේඛනයේ කියන ආදායම ලැබෙන්නේ බිලියන 1561යි කියලා. එන ආසන්න වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් 80%කටත් වඩා අඩු ආදායමක් තමයි ලැබෙන්නේ.
The leftist leader parliamentarian Anurakumara Dissanayake also said that the budget proposals for the coming year has not introduced any short-term or long-term solution for the issues faced by the country today. He also said that the budget 2022 is an unrealistic document which has no proper understanding about the country's situation and ground-level issues.
ඔබතුමා අපේක්ෂා කරන මා දන්නේ නැහැ ඒක මා කියවපු ලේඛනයේ තිබුණේ බිලියන 19ක ආනයන ආදායමක් ඔබ ලබන අවුරුද්ද අපේක්ෂා කරනවා කියලා. 2022 අපනයන ආදායම. ඉතින් බිලියන 19ක අපනයන ආදායම මේ අවුරුද්ද 11.9යි තිබෙන්නේ. ඒක 19 දක්වා වැඩි කරනවා ඔබ විශ්වකර්මී. ඒ නිසා රටේ ජනතාව හැම වෙලාවෙම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා විශ්වකර්මය ඇවිල්ලා රට බේරයි කියලා. නේද? ඉන්ද්‍රජාලිකය ඇවිල්ලා රට බේරයි කියලා. මන්ත්‍රකාරයෝ ඇවිල්ලා රට බේරයි කියලා. එහෙම රට බේරන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා මා හිතනවා මේ 11.9ක අපනයන ආදායම බිලියන 19 දක්වා වැඩි කිරීමේ තමුන්වහන්සේගේ පුරෝකතනය මුළුමනින්ම යථාර්ථවාදී නොවන පුරෝකතනය. ඒ නිසා තමයි මම නැවත පෙන්눔 කරන්නේ. මේ අයවැය ලේඛනයේ කරුණු තුනක් තිබෙනවා අරුබුද. එක මේ අයවැය ලේඛන රටේ ජනතාව මේ මොහොතේ මුහුණ දී තිබෙන කෙටි කාලන ගැටලුවට කිසිදු විසඳුමක් නැහැ. අපේ රට මුහුණ දී තිබෙන දිගු කාලන ආර්ථික අර්බුදයන් ගැනීම සඳහා දැක්මක් හෝ සැලැස්මක් නැහැ. තුන මේ අයවැය ලේඛනයේ සංඛ්‍යා දත්ත පුරෝකතනයන් මුළුමනින්ම යථාර්ථවාදී නොවන අසාර්ථක සහ අසත්‍ය ප්‍රකාශන ගැබ්වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මේ අයවැය ලේඛන පිළිබඳව මේ සංඛ්‍යා දත්ත පිළිබඳව මෙහි අඩංගුම් පිළිබඳව අපි දීර්ඝ කාලයක් සාකච්ඡා කරලා තිබෙනවා. මා හිතන්නේ තවදුරටත් අයවැය ලේඛන සාකච්ඡා කිරීමට පමණක්වත් ප්‍රමාණවත් නොවන ලියවිලි බවට පත් වී තිබෙනවා.
Sri Lanka Muslim Congress and Batticaloa District MP Nasir Ahmed, who joined the budget debate, said that the opposition should not criticize the budget 2022 unless they have to offer viable solutions to the trying economic situation in the country. SLMC parliamentarian Ahmed said that the opposition is denouncing a budget which was brought during an economic crisis and a global pandemic situation.
However, it is sad that the opposition's criticism is only directed at condemning the budget in toto without offering alternate solutions. It only reminds me Mark Twain's famous quote that if you have no will to change, you have no right to criticize it, which is well suited to opposition criticism. In the forthcoming year, with the new challenges brought by the pandemic, the government hopes to finance a total expenditure of rupees 3.9 trillion with an annual revenue of rupees 2.2 trillion, which leaves a budget deficit of rupees 1.6 trillion. The real challenge the government is facing is increasing government revenue while keeping the expenditure at the lowest possible level and maintaining public welfare at a satisfactory level. The macro framework within which the budget 2022 is presented include reducing the budget deficit from 10% of the national income at present to 1.5% by 2027. I congratulate the government for keeping its policy of long-term stability and consistency by not changing the direction set by the last budget.
Stay tuned for stock updates. We'll be right back after another commercial break.
Connect with SLT Rainbow Pages, your true local search.
SLT Mobitel Home Broadband data balance එක බලා ගන්න, extra GB මිලදී ගන්න, දුරකථන දෝෂ වාර්තා කරන්න දැන් හරිම ලේසි. My SLT app එක භාවිතා කරන්න නැත්නම් 0112121212 SLT Mobitel ස්වයංක්‍රීය සේවාවට පිවිසෙන්න.
Welcome back to the State of Business. Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 158.52 points to close at 10,817.24, and the S&P SL20 gained 33.07 points to close at 3,707.65. Coming up next with foreign exchange rates. With that, we wind up today's news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.